So we decided that we were going to move out to the country, and moved out we rented a little garage place in Carrollton, Georgia, and I got started as a painting contractor and then started doing some more construction work and got a job when we were converting the old Banning yarn mill into I'm not sure what his whole concept of it was, but it was theater, bar / nightclub, that kind of thing. He was the son of one of the local bankers. And we went out and did some of the work with him making that conversion. And being it was, Carroll County was a dry county. And that place was opened as a private club. And so that's the only kind of place you could go and have a drink. Mike McGuckin, who was the owner, decided he wanted to bring in a house band and went down on a Friday or Saturday night, whichever it was, saw the band. And Blaze was a rhythm player for the band, is at that time going by the name Dep'ty Dawg. He kept referring to me as his manager, which, as far as I could tell, manager meant that I drove him to the gig and gave him money when he didn't have any. So that was pretty much what manager meant. But he played a number of places around Atlanta. We worked had a number of jobs we did in Atlanta. And Friday nights, Saturday nights, he usually had a gig lined up somewhere, and drove him to most of them. It was during that time that he came up with the David Allen Commode. He really was not a fan. He couldn't stand David Allen Co. So one of the jobs, we'd renovated a bathroom, pulled out a toilet. We had this old toilet, and he said, "Wow, can I have that toilet?" I said, "Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do with it?" And he said, "Well, I got an idea." Well, he went and got those fuzzy covers that they put on the toilet lid and on the back of the tank, got those, glued a bunch of sparkles and rhinestones onto that. And when I took him to the gigs, I had a truck. And so we had this tied up in one corner of the back end of my pickup truck. And so he'd like to do his first set and then come back out for his second set, say that he wanted to bring up a special guest for his second set, and we'd bring out the toilet. And he'd introduce it as David Allen Commode, the Mysterious Rhinestone Toilet. And he was that got a laugh, except when there were David Allen Co fans there. Sometimes that didn't get that many laughs. But I remember quite well his 30th birthday. I was 79, and we said, let's do something special. We came with the idea, well, hell, let's hire a stripper. Let's hire a stripper to come out. Don't tell him a stripper is going to come out on stage in the middle of his set. Well, I had gone with one of my buddies, and I thought we had lined the whole thing up. And we had met this woman, this gorgeous Scandinavian-looking woman who was, like 5'11" and beautiful. My friend and I had set up the stripper to come out, and Blaze had done a great set. Well, this guy shows up who looks like he's out of The Godfather and says, the girl you wanted's here now. He said, okay, who are you? He says, I'm her manager. And I said, okay. And so girl comes in. This girl he's got now is not the girl we met, who we'd arranged. This girl is like 4'8" and has like a 66-inch chest. And he says, and here's her sheet music. And I said, her what? And he said, her sheet music. And where's her dressing room? I said, wait a second, there aren't dressing rooms. There's no dressing rooms available. So negotiated with this guy, and offstage with Gerf was trying to help us work it out. And so we finally closed off the women's restroom, gave that to her as a dressing room, gave the music to Blaze. She was not going to do it unless we did her music. And Blaze said he would do the music. So he didn't get his stripper, but it wasn't a big deal. It was a pretty good show and a pretty good time for his 30th birthday. Omar was playing at Tips. I was pretty good friends with the guy who did the bookings at Tips. And so we got Blaze, the opening act for Omar. And this was Friday the 13th, full moon, and it was the night Skylab fell. So I can remember this quite clearly. It was an interesting show. Blaze did a great show. His opening set was fabulous, but then he got loaded during Omar's set. A couple of people were kind of wanted him to leave, and I tried to convince him, well, hey, maybe we ought to go. And he hid in one of the speakers. These giant box speakers up by the stage. He got inside the bottom part of the speaker. And so everybody kind of said, okay, that'll work. So Blaze spent most of Omar's set inside the speaker.